Hi everyone, it's Josh Nicholas here, back with another Dominion video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you my round 2 matchup against UltimateGeek. They're seeded 212, so I should be able to get through them fairly easily. It's never a given though. There's some cool stats again. There's some cool stats. So yeah, if you enjoy this kind of video, please let me know. I can do all my videos like this. The main reason I did do more of an analysis style video of this is I think I'd play better when I'm not commentating at the same time. So the first game, it's a bit of a weird board. There's no post buys. The only traction is hideout. And yeah, there isn't really much of an engine. I think you do want to trash down a little bit with hideout, which enables you to build an engine, but if you're building an engine to try and draw your entire deck, I think by the time you get there, it's a bit slow. So opponent gets 2-5, which is lackeys and minion. So I take the hideout here, I obviously want to trash down. So the decision here is silver or lackeys. I took the lackeys here. I think that getting through my deck and trashing down is more of a priority than getting the silver. And also, I think the only 5-cost card I would consider buying is minions, so I don't think it's important to add economy early. Pretty much the only time I open with silvers is if I'm trying to hit a 5 or above, basically. And yeah, with the hideouts here, I want to trash down my coppers first. If you're trashing estates, they're basically turning into curses and you're not really thinning your deck. I take silver there. So at this point I realised that if I trash an estate, I can get a Wayfarer for free. But again, it's not really thinning. So I decided I would thin a bit first. Got a second hideout, and the plan here was to get kind of thin, but not completely thin, and then add some engine pieces and some economy. So I have to trigger second lackeys there, and I get a 4. Third hideout doesn't really accomplish much. I think 2 is enough trashing, and I need to add a little bit of economy. Both hideouts get discarded there, it's pretty brutal. And yeah, pretty much the main reason I built a little bit of an engine here was because I have these villagers from the lackeys. If there were no villagers here, then I would probably favour more of a money ship roach. But with these villagers, it enables you to put a few more draw cards in there. So I get to double trash with hideout here, which turns out pretty perfectly because I can go copper and curse into a Wayfarer. And the other good thing about Wayfarer here is when you play it, you gain a silver, or you may gain a silver, and that's kind of going to be food for your hideout. So while your hideout is a village, it's more of an Acropolis than a village because you have to trash a card down, and it puts you down to 4 cards in hand. So longer term, you need to have some food for it. So I get rid of the lackeys there. I probably could have got rid of a copper couldn't not good enough. I drew the copper. Yeah, like he's was the obvious trash there. So opponent's got a province and a nobles now, but they're only 5 points ahead. But with that in mind, I decided to get a nobles here because I think my deck is in an okay state. The draw is never going to be bad, and if I get a duchy and we basically split provinces from here, then I should win. And here I've got a bit of an interesting decision because I can use the nobles as actions and save the lackeys. But I think I just want to draw with the Wayfarer and see what happens first. Yep, made the right decision. And I can do the same thing again there, but I decided I would keep one of my villages. Managed to hit 9, which is a province. Every time you're hitting 8 here, it's definitely a province here. I wouldn't, at this stage, I probably still need to add a little bit more of economy, so next time I hit 6 I probably add a gold. But it's 1 province apiece at the moment as well. I've got a points lead on player 2, so I'm in a fairly decent position here. End up getting to 5, which is a bit awkward. I think the minion is the best here. I mean, most times here it's just going to be a silver. It might be a little bit handy later. And I'll do all that to go for the minion. And so here, same kind of deal. Oh no, it gets discarded. Okay. So I haven't really talked about my opponent here, but it looks like they were mostly doing a minion thing, but they also had a fair bit of junk in their deck, so it's a bit of an anti-synergy there. So with 2 nobles in hand, I decide that I'll use 1 for actions. Maybe could have used lackeys there instead of nobles, but I wanted the extra card just in case. And I did manage to somehow get to 8 there. So yeah, I have 4 silvers in my deck at this point, and a minion, which is my only economy. So pretty much I need to draw through almost my entire deck to get to a province. But I do have a 4-point lead as well. So I'm deliberating here if I trash an estate, but I don't think 6 does much for me. Although, I guess it does, because I can... Okay. I think what I did was right. Yeah, so trashing the estate enabled me to get through my deck. Yeah, this is... Oh no, this isn't 6. Did I not buy gold this game? That's interesting. So at this point, I'm 8 points up in front of my opponent. 3 provinces left. I'm in a pretty good spot. That works out very nicely with the hideout. And Wayfarer is working pretty well to get me some food. So again, I managed to get to 8. So it puts me 15 points up because I've trashed my curse as well. So at this point, I'm in a pretty good spot here. I'm not looking to take too much risk. Even if they take both the provinces they're behind. And I think here you elect to draw with the nobles first because you don't want to risk the hideout trashing a good card. Opponent takes a province, and they probably have to, considering the points deficit. And I know now that all I need to do is get to 8. And yeah, I get pretty lucky to get to 8 there, but I still probably would have been fine regardless. So yeah, I take game 1. I guess it was fairly convincing in the end. It kind of looked like my opponent had a bit of an anti-synergy there. 5 minions and 6 silvers. And they're kind of working against each other because you should probably stack one or the other if you're trying to do that. Alright, so onto game 2. Again, game without buys unless you get Gladiator down to Fortune. There is remodel. The only real draw is Sinister Plot, so you definitely need that. And it's going to be interesting what the first 5 cost is here. So yeah, I take the silver over the Gladiator just because a Gladiator is sometimes a better silver, but I figured that in a game without villages as well, you're going to be wanting to use your 1 terminal action on a better card than the Gladiator. So I took the silver, and opponent took the Jack of all trades. I did also consider going Jack of all trades in this game and just going pure money. But the lure of Sinister Plot being the only draw, I decided to take it. I was considering my first 5 being account, so I could, and using Sinister Plot to have a mega trash. But I also figured that although it's okay, I think that Trading Post was a bit better. So yeah, pretty much at this point I've decided that my 2 terminals, I'm going to have 2 terminals in this deck. I'm never going to be thin enough for them to collide, hopefully. So my 2 terminals are going to be Trading Post and Treasure. And with this hand here as well, if I use Trading Post, it's only going to get me to 4, and 4 really isn't great on this board. So it's a pretty easy draw for me with Sinister Plot. Even though I end up overdrawing and getting to 7, getting the treasury is good. And from here, got a decision to make. I can go for Idol, which is another treasure. It's fairly decent. It'll give out curses. Or I can go to Groundskeeper and kind of play a bit of the long game. But with a single buy board, Groundskeeper is a lot better on multiple buy boards. I think Idol was the correct choice here. Managed to get to 5 again, so it's another Idol. And although a lot of the time you're not going to use the burns, I think the curses is destructive enough. So it's interesting here. I can try and draw and get a province, but I think it's still a little bit early to province. And again, I've got the choice between Golden and Idol. I think either is fine, but I like the attacking here, mainly because my opponent doesn't have the Trading Post. Their only trasher at the moment is Jack of all trades, so they would have to get Jack of all trades and the curse at the same time to be able to trash it. So opponent does get to 8 here. They decide to take Idol. And I decided that this, again, this is only a 1 by board, so I want to get provinces as soon as possible. And yeah, I'm pretty lucky to get exactly 7 here with the key, because that gives me 8. So there's no need to draw with Sinister Plot. The boon is pretty good here. Well, it's good for telling me that my next turn is going to be good. And yeah, I do have an interesting decision here. I can elect to draw with my Sinister Plot, which I think I will. I think I did that. I couldn't remember what the bottom card of my deck was. And now I have a curse as well with a trading post in hand. I was hoping that though unlikely I could trash that straight away. And yeah, I did have 5 on my Sinister Plot, so thought I might as well use it. Difference between 5 and 6 isn't really a lot anyway. And maybe if I get my other idol as well, I can get the Viper as well. That's a small consideration. I hope I drew here. Yeah, I did. Cool. And I managed to find my curse, which was pretty lucky. So yeah, there's no use to play Treasury here. Trading Post does the same thing. I've already got the key. And I'd only be using Treasury to trash anyway. That's a nice boon to get. And so yeah, I've had 3 consecutive turns of provinces here. And my deck is very moneyish. So I think my opponent was pretty much dead from this point on. They gained a copper with Treasurer, which I don't know what that was about. That was another really good boon from Martin. Yeah, so at this point, my opponent has 5 idols, so it looks like they're trying to trash me to death, but I think my deck is a bit strong for that now. I do nothing with the Treasurer. Again, another good boon, which enables me to curse my opponent. And I think that's 5 consecutive turns of provinces for me, which is very nice. Opponent gets Fortune, which is just way too little, way too late. Again, I draw extremely well. Get to 8. I did decide to top deck Curse here. That was wrong. I knew I had my trading post down there, so I would be able to. I would most likely be able to trash my curse, but I should have just put the treasurer there and guaranteed the 8. It was a bit of autopilot at this point as well, because the game had basically been won. There was no chance my opponent was getting back into it. So with that in mind, I took the gold over the duchy. Basically just trying to end it as soon as possible. They take a second fortune, which I don't agree with. Decided to add the token. Might as well guarantee the win. And yeah, I knew that Duchy wasn't making it back into my next shuffle, so I was hard to take the points anyway. So I know if I draw here, I can trash 2 cards with Trading Post and guarantee the win. Could have even been 2 provinces. But I didn't end up needing to do that anyway. I got to exactly 8 in hand. So yeah, game 2 was fairly comprehensive. It was just another money game. And game 3, we finally get to see an engine here. Finally get to see buy in the way of farmers market. But the only draw card here is a Vanto, and that's hidden under the sauna. And there's kind of with in this kind of scenario, there is kind of a mini game because you don't want to be the first person to reveal a Vanto. Well, typically you don't want to be the first person to reveal a Vanto, otherwise you will lose the sport. But with Butcher here as well, you can butcher something into a sauna and then get the Avanto. Either way, Avanto is super relevant here. I want to build an engine, and sauna is trashing. So there is transmogrifying Butcher for trashing, but sauna just does it a little bit better in the mid game. In saying that, I do want to take a Butcher at some time. The Overlord with the Silica trick is fairly nice. But it is better to take a Butcher here and then Overlord before the next shuffle. If you take her Overlord on turn 3, then you're just going to be paying off the debt turn 4. Whereas if you take a Butcher turn 3, then you can get the Overlord turn 4 and put both cards into your shuffle. They used Overlord as Procession, which is pretty neat. Again, I wanted to try and get those Avantos in the open. And opponent trashed their sauna as well. So getting those Avantos is slightly better for me. So here, I think trashing into sauna is the right play. But the double silver also makes sense. Silver does help with the trashing. I took Overlord. I'm not that keen on Overlord. I could have just as easily taken a 3-cost card like Silver there and then an Overlord this turn. I think that was a misplay by me. And so now Overlord's in my shuffle. I think... This is interesting. I think using his Butcher is the best use of it. I can't remember exactly what I did here. Trashing the silver into a sauna and paying off debt. So yeah, I've got 2 debt at the moment. Also the farmers market. Yeah, the farmers market helps me clear my debt. So yeah, I think sauna silver is good. Or sauna overlord. Yeah, I wanted to take the Basilica points there. The only problem with the the farmer's market there is you're going to be leaving the victory points on the table for your opponent to take. So Avanto is close to seeing daylight. There it is now. And I've got that coffer in hand, so I can go the estate straight to an Avanto. And I can pay off my debt there. I decided to trash copper instead. And again, this is interesting because I've already got 3 saunas. I think Avanto is the key card here. With the presence of World Village, sauna becomes less important. And yeah, with Avanto being the only draw card, it's just the most powerful card here. I'm definitely looking to win the split 3-2, if not 4-1. I think opponent should be taking the Avanto here, which they do. And yeah, fairly straightforward for me. Sauna into Avanto, pay off my debt, go into the next turn. So here I can play Overlord as Avanto, which I think is the best use of it. I know I've got the Sauna in hand. There's a decent chance I trigger the other Avanto in my shuffle. And then my deck basically just starts rolling from there. And the other reason to get Avanto off the table so quickly is because my opponent has 4 Overlords, I think. If they can't use Overlord as Avanto, then Overlord's power becomes diminished. So I do happen to find my Avanto, and here it's pretty straightforward, I think. Butcher the estate into a Avanto, trash out some coppers, and take the final Avanto to win the split 4-1. I do only have... I think I only had 2 saunas left. Yeah, I only have 2 saunas, so I will be looking to add a World Village to this deck just to help the engine a bit. I can also play Overlord as World Village. I also need to add a Farmer's Market in here for the buy. I can also achieve both of these things by getting another Overlord, but those are some expensive Farmer's Markets or World Villages. So I managed to draw a deck, and I decide to use that as the camel. I'm also going to want a legionary here to attack. So I can trash Butcher here to get that, get both of those golds. Or I can trash the silver into a legionary, draw the legionary, and buy the golds myself, which looks better. don't like trashing the silver here. Oh no, trashing the silver is actually fairly nice, because it gives me that walled village, and I can buy the gold by itself. I have 2 coppers that are not left over that won't be trashed with sauna unless I get another silver. But that's definitely survivable. So I'm hoping to draw a Vanto here. I can also use Overlord as possession and possess the walled village. But there isn't really a 5-cost card that I want. Another Butcher would be fine. I have to discard down here. And yeah, I think I value that walled village more than a Butcher at this stage. I want my deck to be functional. I want to be drawing my entire deck every turn. And yeah, whether it's a opponent plays Gatekeeper. So I get lucky enough to draw a Vanto, and then Sauna, and then a Vanto, and then Sauna, and then a Vanto. So I definitely want a Legionary here. That gets me to 11. Butcher gives me coffers. And the other thing here, opponent has Gatekeeper out, so if I gain something with Butcher that isn't a victory card, it's going to get exiled. So I get to 13. So it's obviously Province. And then I think I do want a Farmer's Market in my deck at some stage. I'm happy enough using Overlord as it for now. But there may be a stage where I need to use my Overlords as Walled Villages later on. I guess at this stage, I'm pretty much only single provincing. I could have built a bit more to double province every turn. I think, yeah, if the Gatekeeper wasn't out, I would have taken another gold rather than the Farmer's Market. But also later on in the game as well, I'm going to be butchering some gold, so I'll be buying. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, so I'll be buying one province and then trashing gold into a province. So again, get pretty lucky with the advantage draw of managing to find silver. And I know here that my discard is basically 2 Avantos. I'm not going to be able to draw them into hand. The Legionary attack is a bit too strong to resist. And I can butcher a copper down into the Farmer's Market to get it off my exile. Could also butcher a gold into a province, but it leaves me a little bit light on economy. I could also have trashed a province down. Could have trashed the province into a province. Got the pile down to 4. I probably should have done that in hindsight, actually. Put it at 4. I don't think my opponent... No, they had Transmogrify as well in the map. So there could have been a scenario where they piled out provinces. As unlikely as it seems. Yeah. The opponent does have overlords that they can use as butchers, so do we need to be a little bit careful with the province file here. So I'm going to use Overlord as Bold Village. I don't want to dot out here with my Vanto. I may should draw the Sauna anyway, but rather be safe than sorry. I decided not to chain that last Vanto in case I need to draw something with the Butcher. So now I'm Legion. I will use Legionary here. Yeah, so I can get those farmers markets off exile now, which I do. That gives me 3 actions. Don't want to leave farmers market on top of next turn, so I'll use a Vanto. I definitely want to attack with the Legionary and make things hard for my opponent next turn. Oh, I guess I didn't do that. I decided to take the points there. I'm not sure if I should have done that. I think I should have just done the Legionary attack and made things harder for my opponent next turn. I don't hate that I took the farmers market points, but I think attacking my opponent who doesn't have much draw is the better option. So yeah, in hindsight I would have played the Legionary there. But I don't hate the fact that I took the points. I've got 8 point buffer now. Oh, not 8, that's only 6. But I am looking to end this turn if possible. I'm not sure why I'm thinking about playing that. Ah, yes. To process the World Village and get a Butcher. Yeah, I want to try and end it this turn. Yeah, getting that Butcher helps me to end the game. So I can trash gold into a province, gold into province, and a Legionary into the province, and that ends it there. That was a nice use of Legionary. Could have played that farmers market, the game is over. Typically, if I'm in front and I have cards that I can play, but the game's over, you just end it. Put your opponent out of your misery, move on to the next game. Don't be a tosser. So, game 4. So I just need to win this game to move on to the next round. Flag Bearer, super relevant, because it's the only way of drawing cost. Well, it gives you an extra card each turn, but you don't want to be the person that buys the flag first. Remake, possibly the strongest strategy in the game. Pretty easy open there. I can go a silver here as well to accompany it. I think I want to trash down more with the raise there. I think I just want to get super thin super quick. Remake it makes that happen. So opponent Another 5-2 for them. They get Old Witch. I do like Haven, but thinking longer term, Candlestick Maker I think is better. You're definitely going to want a Candlestick Maker at some point just for that extra buy. They get a Swindler. Not really too keen on that. And then I get a Flag Bearer. I typically don't like to be the first person to get it, but I think it's okay on a 4. And with opponent getting Swindler as well, there is a chance that they trash it, which they do there, which is very fortunate. I'm expecting to get probably a research back, but I end up getting a flag, which is very good for me because it's basically like I'm the last person to have gotten the flag now. So opponent has 1 flag, I have 1 flag. If they trash their flag, I trash my flag, and we're even in flags. So again, it's a game without a village, so I'm looking to flood my money with flood my deck with money. I figured I could have trashed the copper there and got an Old Witch, but I'll get the Old Witch here when I trash the Flag Bearer. And again, still just looking to play money-ish here. I have Remaking Old Witch as my terminals. Can take a Swindler. I think the Silver is a better play. I do end up playing Swindler. Okay. It does get sad if Old Witch and Swindler collide. I think I'm just better off taking Silver there. So again, yeah, pretty much playing money-ish. Get the first province. If I get to 8, I'm buying a province every time. If I get to less than that, I'm probably buying money. If opponent trashes a flag, or say if opponent gains a flag, I'm looking to get that flag back. There we go, draw this from the dead. That's basically what I deserve. But I still managed to get to 8 anyway. 3 coffers on my coffers map is definitely good as well. Draw a Candlestick, make it dead, but that's fine. I've got a province. I'm happy gaining provinces for the rest of the game. So unless opponent gains a flag here, I'm looking just to play Swindler. And I'll get another province. That takes it down to 2 with an over 2 province lead. So once again, in a very strong position. They take the flag. I managed to get 8 again. Well, it's actually 9. And yeah, that's pretty much game from there. Money-ish deck does the trick once more. So yeah, I think as my opponent starting 5-2 there, I think I would have just gone Remake over Old Witch. Old Witch is good, but Remake is so strong. Getting trash 3 cards early is very And yeah, that's game. That takes it to 4-0 win. As you see, my deck at the end is more trashed, has more money in it. Yeah, opponent was never really a chance. So yeah, it was fairly convincing in the end. I think I played fairly well. Made a couple of small mistakes. Weren't costly, thankfully. But yeah, overall played fairly well. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. And yeah, I will probably do the rest of my championship matches kind of in this kind of fashion. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you are competing in the championship, best of luck, and I'll see you next time.